Hello and welcome. Let's try making the happy little pup out of clay today. I have plans for her being a desk buddy that can hold a pen, specifically the pen for my drawing tablet. I've done a few clay sculptures, a few meaning less than 5, and those were years ago. I enjoy crafting and creating the happy little pup in different mediums, so when I came across a creatives channel that features her clay art, I was inspired to give clay art a try. Let's go over what supplies we're going to need. I'm using what supplies I have already. Aluminum foil for the bulk of the body. I have enough clay to make a whole piece out of clay, but since I'm borrowing that clay, I don't want to be too greedy, and I'm curious about how this will turn out with the aluminum foil. I'm using an empty picture frame I've cleaned with rubbing alcohol. I believe this type of surface is used to prevent a textured surface's pattern imprinting into the clay, and it's easy to clean, removing as much debris from getting onto the clay also. I grabbed some Q-tips in case I needed to make any smaller touch-ups using the rubbing alcohol. I'm using some acrylic paint to color the pup, and luckily the clay is gray, so I don't have to color the whole piece or be tempted to go out and buy colored clay. Though I was tempted to color the whole piece gray anyway. I'm going to use some wire for the arms and to connect the head to the body, and the fine-tipped paintbrushes are going to be also used for smoothing pieces together. I'll do this by using the opposite end of the brush. I also grabbed gloves to protect my hands. The creative that inspired me made a draft of their clay piece digitally. Normally, I would just go for it, but I could see she knows what she is doing, and since this was part of her process, I would make it part of mine. I was surprised how much sketching out the idea engaged me with this project and made it less daunting. It turned an uninspired lump of wet gray clay that I was going to wing it with into a project with direction and purpose. It better kept in my mind's eye what I was going for, so I recommend this step to you guys for sure. After that, the next step was to create the head. I did this with the aluminum foil and then pressing the clay into a thin layer, formed it around the foil. I tried making it a more detailed head, but went back to the original cartoony, cute look. The lack of smoothness to the clay certainly bothered me, but in setting myself up for success, I chose to continue on and not get stuck and potentially frustrated on my technique. For the body, I used a piece of foil twice as wide as the head's piece and followed the same technique as I used on the head. The arms were interesting. I had to use the paintbrush handle to smooth the clay down, and I'm hoping the wire will be strong enough to support it. I think it will be because of the angle of the arms and body. The utensil, such as a pen, will sit quite close to the body. I was going to use glue to attach the head to the body after I fixed the ears, but decided to use wire as a placeholder instead. I really wanted to see if I could bring the happy little pup out in this piece with paint, so I started with the eyes using the black and white acrylic paint. I think this helped so much, and I could really start to see this piece come together. I added the back feet, and now I have to let it air dry for 24 hours. I could bake it, I think, but I have memories of browning the clay with the oven's temperature, and that wasn't ideal for the pup's color scheme. And I'm not sure how baking would interact with this clay either. I found some red paint. I mixed a little with the white, acrylic paint to give her mouth and nose some color. I'm really sad to say, post creating this, I realized I forgot to put pink on her nose. I liked the black and white version, but adding the pink color really gave it dimension and gave more life to this piece. I was worried about her feet staying and the balance, so I have plans to affix her to a wood disc like I have in the draft drawing I did. I think I would like to add fake moss, though I'm also tempted to add clay grass. I'm writing this script before the movie and the clay piece is done, and it occurs to me that if I want to make the clay grass using the clay available to me, I'll have to wait even longer to see this completed, and present me says I waited and I created clay grass and clay flowers for the happy little pup to be standing on. Okay, anyway, back to the process. From what I've seen, resin is the popular choice for finishing clay pieces, but polyurethane can also be used. I have polyurethane available, so I made little discs to test and see which I will like better, and making sure that the polyurethane doesn't alter the color of the white paint. Making these test discs was pretty impressive for me, as I usually don't have that forethought. I really wanted this piece to turn out, so it was worth it to me, and I'm hoping that with 2 coats of the polyurethane, it will sort of hold everything together and give it a nice finish and a put together appearance. And in regards to the butterfly in the sketch, I'm undecided if I will follow through on making it. If I do, I think I might add it to the base instead of the pup's face. What followed next was a series of applying polyurethane, letting it dry, reapplying, making the grass, making the flowers for the grass, affixing them, and then deciding to put it on the wood disc. And I used the polyurethane to kind of glue everything together like that it would seal, so if this falls, I'll know that I really do need to use the glue, but my hope was that this will do the trick. This is the finished piece. I'm really happy with my happy little pup clay desk buddy. The level of the arms is a little off kilter, so I have to be specific with how the pen will sit, but I am still thrilled with this project, and it gives the whole piece a little more character. I hope this inspires you to create something. I really enjoyed making the happy little pup in this clay medium.